Can I build more muscle if I start taking creatine? That is the question I asked myself at the beginning of my fitness journey. By my second year of training, the newbie gains had slowed down. I remember grinding out the same weights and reps for weeks with little progress. Frustration was real. One afternoon, a friend at the gym asked, "Have you tried creatine?" I had heard of it, the most popular supplement that wasn't a protein shake, but I'd never given it a shot. I knew creatine wasn't a steroid. It's actually a naturally occurring compound in our muscles and found in foods like meat. Still, I was skeptical. Would it really help? Or was it all hype and water weight? After hitting that wall in my progress, I decided it was time to find out for myself. I spent a weekend researching everything about creatine, what it does, how to take it, and potential side effects. I learned that creatine works by boosting the muscle's phosphocreatine stores, which helps regenerate ATP, your muscle's quick energy fuel, during heavy lifts. In plain terms, more fuel for short, intense efforts. Studies also show creatine can improve exercise performance, help with recovery, and even increase muscle mass for people who train. With science on my side and assurances that it's one of the most researched, safe supplements out there, over 20 years of research show no harm to healthy kidneys at recommended doses, I was convinced. I committed to 90 days of creatine to see what would happen. I remember holding that creatine tub on day one, thinking, this little scoop could be a game changer. With equal parts excitement and caution, I took my first dose. I started with 5 grams of creatine monohydrate daily in my post-workout shake. No loading phase, just consistent dosing. Since research shows that it works just as well. It was tasteless, easy to take, and in the first few days, I didn't feel much. But by the end of week 1, I was up 2 pounds. Mostly water weight, creatine pulls water into muscles, making them feel fuller and slightly more pumped. It wasn't a bad kind of bloating either. It actually made my arms look tighter, even on rest days. Around day 10, I noticed something else, a small strength bump. I hit an extra squat rep, 225 pounds for 6 instead of 5. Just a tiny win, but it fired me up. That's the power of creatine. Not magic, but it helps you push through those last, tough reps. And when your muscles have more fuel, those small gains start to add up. By week 3, creatine was locked into my routine. Scoop, drink, lift. Recovery started to noticeably improve. My usual Monday leg press used to leave me sore until Thursday. Now, I was ready again by Wednesday. Not magic, but definitely faster recovery. I could train harder, more often, and it showed. My bench finally climbed from 185 to 195 pounds for 5 reps, and shoulder presses jumped too. These weren't beginner gains, they were hard-earned, and creatine clearly helped. But with the results came questions. A friend asked, "Isn't creatine bad for your kidneys?" It's a classic myth. In reality, decades of research say creatine is safe for healthy people. It can raise creatinine levels, a marker on blood tests, but that's not the same as harming your kidneys. Another myth, creatine makes you bald. That one came from a single study showing a small DHT bump. No hair loss, and it's never been replicated. After 90 days, my hair's just fine. And no, it's not just water weight. The water goes into your muscles, making them fuller, not bloated. It's hydration that actually helps with performance. Creatine isn't a steroid or cheating. It's in stake. Your body makes it naturally, and every major sports organization allows it. You're just topping off your muscle energy stores. Once I cleared up the noise and knew the facts, I could fully commit. No doubts, just training. And the results only got better from there. By the second half of my 90-day routine, creatine's effects were undeniable. My workouts felt sharper. I had more in the tank for every lift. Around week 8, I checked the mirror and compared it to my day 1 photo. My arms and shoulders were rounder, more defined, and the measuring tape confirmed it. 0.5 inches added to my biceps and a full inch to my chest. I was up about 5 to 6 pounds, which tracked perfectly with studies showing creatine users gain 2 to 4 pounds more muscle than those training without it. But it wasn't just about size. The gym numbers told the story. My bench press jumped from 185 for 5 to 225 for 3, finally hit those 2 big plates. Squats climbed to by 30 pounds, deadlifts improved with better form, and pull-ups went from 8 to 12, plus sets with added weight. Recovery? Way better. I wasn't destroyed after leg day anymore, and I could squeeze in extra sets without losing performance. Even my sprints and finishers felt smoother, likely thanks to creatine boosting ATP and helping my muscles push through tough sets. In short, more reps, heavier lifts, faster recovery, and better performance across the board. Creatine didn't transform me overnight, but it absolutely leveled up everything I was already doing. At the end of the 90 days, it was time to reflect. My expectations going in were mixed. Part of me hoped creatine would be a game changer, that I'd explode in size and strength. Another part of me was cautious, expecting maybe just a lot of water weight and minimal real difference. The reality was somewhere in the middle. Creatine did not transform me into a superhuman overnight. I didn't suddenly have a bodybuilder physique or lift like a powerlifting champion after 3 months. Hard work was still absolutely required. The changes, while significant to me, were gradual and came through consistent training. Creatine did give me a noticeable boost that I doubt I would have had otherwise. The extra reps, quicker recovery, and slight weight increase all combined to make my progress faster than it would have been. It was like putting my gains on a slightly faster track. Those 5 to 6 pounds gained were likely a mix of muscle and water, but even 2 to 3 pounds of actual muscle in 3 months is great at my stage of training. And the strength I gained, that felt very real. I also expected to maybe encounter side effects or inconveniences. In reality, I experienced almost no negative side effects. No cramps, no digestive issues, no notable bloating beyond the good kind. My blood work showed nothing alarming. Everything was within normal ranges, which reinforced what the studies say. Creatine supplements are safe for most people. I kept an eye on my hair, given the myth, and saw no changes. My clothes still fit, just a bit tighter in the right places. If anything, the biggest side effect was that I had to buy new protein powder sooner because I was recovering faster and training harder, meaning I was eating a bit more to fuel that growth. One funny expectation I had was that taking creatine might be a hassle, remembering to take it daily, maybe it tasting bad, or not mixing well. In reality, it was super easy to use. I left the creatine tub on my kitchen counter as a visual cue, and it mixes in water with no drama. Pro tip: a quick stir or shake, and it's virtually flavorless. On days I forgot post-workout, I just stirred it into any drink later. Consistency is key for creatine, and I only missed maybe 2 to 3 days out of 90, which I'm proud of. The 90th day arrived. I vividly remember that morning. I stepped on the scale, took a progress photo, and then pulled up my day 0 notes and pictures. This was the moment of truth, the before versus after comparison I'd been waiting for. Looking at the photos side by side, I broke into a smile. The differences might not have been Instagram transformation challenge dramatic, but they were absolutely there. In the before photo, I looked decent, the product of a year of consistent training. In the after photo, I looked noticeably more muscular and fuller. My posture even looked better, probably from confidence and strength. My shoulders and traps had a bit more size, giving me a broader look. My arms, as noted, were slightly bigger and more defined. A friend even joked that I finally earned my tickets to the gun show. My weight went from about 170 pounds to about 176 pounds in those 90 days. I'd estimate maybe 3 to 4 pounds of that is muscle based on the mirror, and the fact that I did add a little bit of body fat from eating more, which is fine. Remember, some studies indicate that creatine users gain, on average, a few more pounds of muscle than non-users in similar training, and I was living proof of that. It wasn't all muscle, but it set the stage for muscle gains. Perhaps the coolest part, my performance after spoke for itself. I retested a few benchmarks I did on day 0. My 100-meter sprint time improved by 0.2 seconds from 14.5 seconds to 14.3 seconds. Small, but notable for a short distance. In a max rep push-up test, I went from 40 push-ups to 50 push-ups. Even my vertical jump improved by an inch. These aren't typically things you'd credit creatine for alone. Training and practice matter too, but given creatine's role in explosive movements, I wasn't surprised to see improvements. I also did a quick mental check. How do I feel compared to before? Honestly, I felt great. No fatigue or issues from the supplement. In fact, I felt more energetic in training and equally healthy overall. Creatine isn't a stimulant, but by improving my training quality, it indirectly made me feel more motivated and lively. There's something extremely satisfying about setting a goal, following through, and seeing results. It creates a positive feedback loop. By day 90, creatine had become a trusty part of my routine, and seeing the before and after results only cemented my plan to keep it in my regimen moving forward. After 90 days, I can confidently say creatine was worth it, not because it transformed me overnight, but because it amplified everything I was already doing. It helped me break through plateaus, building muscle a little faster, recover quicker, and push harder in each workout, all without side effects. It wasn't magic, but it acted like a catalyst, turning consistent effort into noticeable results. Progress came gradually, a few more reps, slight weight increases, but over time, it added up big. It also gave me a mental edge, keeping me motivated and consistent. Creatine is one of the most researched and safest supplements out there, and for me, it delivered. If you're considering it, set realistic expectations, stay consistent, and go for it. This journey showed me that with the right tools and discipline, slow progress becomes serious transformation. If you want to achieve a Greek god physique naturally, make sure you watch this video series where I rank the best and worst exercises for muscle building.